Hello and welcome back to our video series on SMF. In this video, we're going to be talking about attachments and avatars, the last item in our form setup. So if we go ahead and click on this, it will take us to, provided we're still logged into the admin, the attachments and avatars section, where we can go ahead and check out the various links that we have here. The attachment settings, a lot of these are going to be self-explanatory, folks, so no need to set a lot of time for this. Attachments mode, enable all attachments, or you can disable the new attachments. These are the default settings here, and frankly they're pretty good. The only thing I would change is check attachments extension. That way it would make sure that it is of the accepted. Otherwise you might get some yahoo out there that wants to screw around with your beautifully set up form and send you some bogus extension that's full of crap. So anyway, I would go ahead and do that, and I would by all means make sure that you have assigned the allowed attachment extensions. Again, these are the default. I see no reason why to change these. If you do not want one or two or all of these or some of these, then just knock them out. And encrypt, yes, I would encrypt that. So far the only change is check attachment extensions. I got my plural messed up there. Check attachments extension. And coming on down here, attachment directory. This just tells you where they are located at whenever they are uploaded. This gives you the max size and the of the folder where they will be contained. And for those of you that are metric deficient, you have 1,000 kilobytes and a megabyte. So we got 10 megabytes here. Okay, that's the max size. Of course, you can change this, but you don't want to exceed the amount of disk space that you have on your server, and you want to just consider that. But anyway, max attachment size per post. You can probably decrease this because this is 192 kilobytes. That's a pretty fat attachment. Max size per attachment and the number of attachments per post. Now this, I don't know if there's really a reason to have 4 attachments in one post. I'm sure there might be, but frankly myself on my form, I'm going to limit this to 2. I think even that's 2 times more than what is allowed or what should be allowed, but again, that's just me. Display image attachment as pictures under post. Resize images when showing under post. Yes, definitely, I would anyway. And put the maximum size of the images or pictures as either 100, 150. You can go 60 or 65, but to keep the aspect ratio of sorts, I would make it a square, just like this. Whatever you got up here, have the same number down here. Whether it's 75 by 75, 70 by 75, wouldn't look so hot, but just make it square. 150 is a good round number. That's not too big. And then, of course, whatever changes you make, click on Save. And on up here under Avatar Settings, this is something else you want to be wary of, because just like the attachments, if somebody were to want to screw around with your beautifully set up form, they may be able to do so by uploading a massive size avatar, which is basically, as we mentioned in the terminology video, a big picture, or a picture, a branding item, if you will, but basically it's just an image of your choosing, or in this case, depending on how you have it set up, an image that is available for you to choose from. And I'll explain that here in just a sec. Because there are 2 sets of default, let me see, in the 2.0 version, and I believe that same holds true in the 1.1.7 and 1.8 versions of SMF, that there are 2 sets of default images. One is of musicians and one is of actors, if I remember correctly. Check that by going to Attachments, Avatar Settings. To make doubly sure, let us go to our FileZilla, our FTP client, and follow this path to our avatars folder and see what's in there. And again, we're using FileZilla for our FTP client, just as we've done in prior videos. And we will connect, and let's see, what do we have here? Forum, that's the one I'm looking for. And then under avatars, because we go back here and check out our path, the domain name, forum, and then avatars. Yep. Domain name, forum, avatars. We've got 2 folders, actors and musicians. Yes, I was correct. And then under actors, we've probably got, a bunch of images. And under musicians, likewise, a bunch of images. Now then, as we've discussed in prior videos, if you wanted to put a picture of yourself in here and replace the name, let's say Bob Marley, with your dreadlocked image, then you're more than welcome to do so. People will just think that Bob Marley has just changed his looks in the years since he's been dead, but that's just one way you can adjust this. Anyway, sorry about that. Now then, let's go ahead and log out of here. Disconnect, because that's all we really need this guy for. And we come back here, as far as the avatar settings, a couple of things you want to be wary of. Member groups allowed to select a server stored avatar, the ones I just showed you. I would just let both of them. And of course, you notice there's no guests in here, because guests, well, they don't get that kind of permission. They have to register. And then the member groups allowed to, because you got choices here, whether it's server stored, that being those that you already have on file, and you can add to that file too, just as I mentioned, or you've got external avatars where people can provide their own URLs where their avatars are stored on their server. By allowing the external avatars, in other words, these guys here checked, by allowing this to take place, then you do take that minuscule chance of somebody having an objectionable image or avatar that you would not be able to, actually correct that issue until you actually saw it yourself. So now, if you are monitoring the forum on a regular basis, daily, if you will, then I see no problem with this. If you want to limit that and say more of a hands-off, then you can limit it to just the images available here, and then just let them choose from whatever you have stored on your site, and that way you wouldn't have to worry about it. Otherwise, you can go ahead and check these guys here. Download avatar at given URL. It'd be a little bit iffy. I would change these though, if you're going to allow this, because 65 by 65 is kind of dinky. I would go with the, as we have in the other side, maybe 100 or 75 or 85. 65 by 65 is a little bit small. Definitely do not put 0 in here. That's where you're going to get those yahoos with the full-size picture of their dogs or something going at it. And then if the avatar is too large, that being larger than what you have set here, then let the HTML resize it. I would go ahead and do that, or refuse it. That's always a possibility too. And then uploadable avatars, because anytime you allow somebody to upload to your server, you're taking the risk of them uploading a virus, a bug, just something that I would not want to do myself. That's just me. But anyway, it is an option available to you here. And again, any other changes you want to make here, you go ahead and just click on save if you want to keep those changes. Now the browse file and file maintenance, these are items that you don't really need access to until you have some files in there to browse. For example, until you have attachments that your members have uploaded, or until you have avatars that your members have uploaded, or until you have thumbnails that your members have uploaded, you will not have anything down here. So file maintenance, just to show it off, these are items that you can alter yourself here. If you want, you can have the attachments removed automatically within 25 days. You can probably change this to maybe 45 days, or you can delete it altogether. And you can put in a message here inside of the quotes or inside the brackets. Leave the brackets intact. And likewise here, remove attachments larger than such and such size. Remove avatars from members that are not active for, I would probably go a couple of 2 or 3 months here. These are items that you can in fact adjust if you so desire. And likewise here, total size of attachment directory. Right now there's not a whole lot in there, but if you monitor this from time to time, whenever it gets close to your max here, you may want to go back to your attachment settings and adjust this or clean this out a little bit. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and I do want to also mention that you can in fact come up with some custom avatars that are not within those two folders, the musicians or the actors folder, by going to our website here, simplemachines.org, and go to custom here, or customize rather, and then down here, anything that we haven't covered or will not cover in this video series, just do a search for it. For example, avatar, where are we at here? AVA-TARS. Search entire site, community, modifications, themes, online manual. We'll go with modifications. If you go with entire site, either way, doesn't matter. We've got some cool avatars here that, provided that they will fit within our version, feel free to download them. And some of these will require you to utilize the package modification that we have not got to yet. We'll be covering that in an upcoming video. But at the very least, you can, if it's just images, you can download them and upload them to that avatar folder as I had shown you earlier with our FileZilla FTP client. Just to kind of reconnect here and show you under the avatar folder. Okay. Don't put it in so much in here because it will more than likely be an entire folder in and of itself, just like it was with smileys. You have to include the entire folder here, but make sure that it's not the folder inside of a folder. You want inside of this folder here, you only want to see the images, like so. Okay? And that's pretty much it. That's going to bring us to the end of this video. And close this out on attachments and avatars. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. That's the key thing here. Have a great day.